I would like to rename all of the instances where I use lazy lock. I just select lazy lock, and I would like to use absolute path. I just type std sync lazy lock, and it just works at the moment. The docs are not available from the actual editor. I will press semicolon to collapse these selections into just the cursors. And I can press R, which is for replace. I replace the character at the cursor with a comma. Yeah, so I just made this website called Helix Golf. I just wanted to let people know about like the power of Helix, how you can do different transformations to text. And if we go to the Wikipedia page, here we have this tutorial. Everything that starts with tutorial is I wrote it. Now I press capital I, which will move me to insert mode at the beginning of every single line. Now I can type whatever I want. So I just...
Have you heard about the joke, the Helix joke? By the Primogen?
Which joke?
I cannot say it. But what else do you want to show?
Why you can't say it?
All right, so I've been hearing about Helix for a long time. I'm a big Neovim user. I know nothing about Helix. The only thing that I have done with Helix is to install it. So today I have Nik here, which is a Helix user. Hey Nik, how's it going?
Hey, great. I first heard about Helix a couple months ago because I wanted to get into Rust language. I didn't know anything about it, and I was using Neovim as well. But I was tired of constantly having to like change my Neovim configuration, because like every single week I would find a new plugin and I wanted to use it, but it just kept going on forever. So there would be I would use my editor more to edit itself rather than actually getting any work done.
Yep.
And I just wanted to something that works out of the box.
Okay, makes complete sense. I know nothing about it, so that's great, you know, that you come from Neovim, so you can guide me through the process and explain why and all that stuff. For how long did you use Neovim?
For half a year. It was my first like terminal text editor. So I started off with Visual Studio Code when I first learned programming, and then wanted something more extreme, something interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And why did you want to go through the pain of configuring your editor and the terminal and playing with config files and all that stuff? Why didn't you just keep VS Code?
Because if I just kept using VS Code, it would just constantly be in my mind that I might be missing out on something cool. I just have to give it a try at least to know if I like it or not. And then I can go back if I want to. And I'm not going back.
Okay, so no plans to go back to VS Code then?
No, it's a mouseless lifestyle. You can't go back from it. It's just too comfortable. I like it when I don't even need to touch mouse anymore. Ever.
Okay. And the only thing that I have done is to install it, because I didn't know how long it was gonna take, right? So this is the only thing that I have done so far. You already explained that you have used Neovim. Are you switching between both of them or just Helix right now?
So as soon as I heard about Helix, I was doubtful for like a couple of days, but then I just decided to go all in. I just deleted my Neovim configuration, and because that's how like the best way for me to learn something is just to jump into it instead of just casually like over a span of a couple of weeks use it a little bit. No, I just went full on with Helix.
For how long have you been using Helix?
For about a couple of months now. I think I started in November, which is also when I started using Rust.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem pretty young Would you mind sharing how old you are with us?
Yeah, I'm 18 years old. I've
18
been
years old.
programming for about a year now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing Rust mainly at the moment?
Yes. Exactly. I started with web development, using the Odin project. If you've heard about it, it's like a website where you can learn programming by building projects, such as building calculator, building like a painting app using JavaScript. And that was my first experience with programming. And then I I knew JavaScript and TypeScript, but I wanted to learn about like systems programming, something on the lower level. And Rust just seems like the perfect language for me to learn because it had everything I wanted, like a strong type system, a very good like package manager. And so I just wanted to jump into it. But I needed something like a real project to work on, so I can actually learn Rust. Because of course, I can just build like one-off projects such as the calculator or to-do list, but it motivates me to work on something that people actually use. And when I work on these tasks, it motivates me to work and keep it working, basically.
Okay. Do you mind showing us around in Helix? How do you open it?
Yeah.
To start with? Is it an application in itself? Like, is it a GUI application like Emacs, or is it something that you open in your terminal?
Yeah, so Helix is a command line tool. You have to use a terminal for it. But like there were plans to make it into a GUI. So maybe at some point we will see something like Neovim, but for Helix. But at the moment, it's just in the terminal.
Okay. So the only thing that I did is install it. How do I open it? Like after installing it, what do you do? Do you type Helix in the terminal?
Yeah, so to open it, you have to pick like any file and just open it using hx, which is the command.
hx.
And there you will see. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel a difference comparing Helix to Neovim? Do you feel that it's a little bit faster, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like it's faster, but it sort of feels like placebo because it's written in. I know that it's written in Rust, so it feels like it should be faster. But at the same time, I can't really notice much of a difference because both Neovim and Helix are really fast. So as you can see, I just open file. It's just instant. There's no delay.
Okay. Do you usually open a project and work in that? Let's say you just type hx, open the project, and then you have a file explorer in Helix, or how do you usually navigate around in projects?
Yeah, so for usually I just use hx. It opens an empty buffer with nothing in it, and then I do space f, and this opens a file explorer, which is new from the latest version. So you have to build from source at the moment. You will get a file explorer which is built into Helix if you build from master, but you can also use Yazi to integrate it with Helix. So you will be able to navigate to different folders and open them right with Helix with the Yazi integration. And it even has image preview. So as you can see, I can view SVGs right from Helix.
Interesting.
Yeah. And to actually get this integration working, it's only like 10 lines of TOML, basically. It's not much work. Yeah.
Okay. So you only need to have Yazi installed outside Helix. Just install Yazi as usual. And what do you need to do in Helix to configure that? You mind showing us your TOML configuration
Yeah, absolutely.
file?
So let me open my config. Right. So as you can see, this line means that in normal mode, we are creating a key binding. So for the E key, it will run this command, which is, I just copy pasted it from the GitHub wiki. But basically, what it does is it creates like a temporary file, which has the current file you have opened in Yazi. And then when you close Yazi and open it again, it will remember which file you have opened last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So by default, you don't get a file explorer unless you build from sources at the moment, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's available on the master branch.
Okay.
So there's probably going to be a release in a couple of months.
That already comes with that file explorer in case you don't want to use Yazi. Okay.
Yes.
What other file explorers, or how do people navigate around files then if they don't use Yazi and if the file explorer is not present? Do they use something else?
Yeah. So to do that, you have, first of all, you have a file picker. You press space F and it opens all of the files in the Helix's current working directory, and it searches them recursively. So let's say I want to open a specific file like main.rs. I can just type it here and it's going to bring it up and I can open it.
Okay, so that's the file picker. Letter
you can
F.
Yeah, space F.
Okay, space F. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
Next, you have you can open absolute files by using the open command, and this brings up like a menu which has all of the directories and all of the files right in front of you, and you can just tab through them and open whichever one you want.
Okay, so you just type colon, and that brings up that menu, just like in Neovim.
Colon open, and it will bring this up.
Okay.
And then if you press like enter on the directory, it will actually show the files inside of this directory.
Oh, okay. So if you press enter, it's just going to show you the files in that directory, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you hit enter to open that file.
Yeah.
What else can you show us around in Helix? What else did you like it about? What else did you like about it compared to Neovim?
So I like that. Just the one I showed you. It shows you like the files which are available. I don't think you get this in Neovim. So it's a more user friendly in this regard. Secondly, I have this disabled in my config, but if I toggle aut-info, now when I press like space, for example, it will show me all of the available commands that you can use in Helix. So I know in Neovim there's like a plugin called wiki. It's basically like that, but it's built in.
Okay, it's built in.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
install... say you want to do global search, you just go space / and then you can search for any word, and then you will have you will see entries which contain this.
Okay. So regarding the configuration, then how do you manage it? Is it a single file?
Yeah. So there's two files. The first file it's called languages.toml, and it has all of your language configurations. And then another one is your actual configs. So I will show you in my terminal. I will cd do.config/helix, and there we go, config.toml. But these files are generated by NixOS, since I'm using Nix. But you can also edit them manually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have those two files.
Yes. This is another one. As you can see, it's sim-linked to this Nix store.
Okay. Let's try something. I'm gonna switch to my screen here, so you can just guide me through the process a little bit.
Okay.
That's okay with you, okay?
Yeah,
so
sure.
After installing it, I didn't do anything, and I noticed that there's this directory here already, right? But it's empty. So, or is it not? Yeah, it's empty. Do you need to add the files there? Do you know?
Yeah, so if you want to configure, you have to make make a new file called config.toml in the directory.
Okay. Do you have to start with like a base config? Is there something that I should copy from the documentation or something?
So in all honesty, the only thing you should really copy would be the language configurations if it's not already built in, because quite a lot of language configurations, like for Rust, for example, is already built in. So you install Helix, you open a Rust project, and you just get Rust analyzer support for free. You don't have to do anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try something then. I'm gonna switch to my .files directory here. Okay, and I'm going to open Helix HX. Okay, so I get this.
Yes.
You said that if I type, how do I get the picker? Space F.
Yes, space F. You can write the name of any file, and you just jump to it instantly.
Okay, so this is my CSHRC file. I have the motions, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's sort of like vim-motions, but it's a bit special because Helix follows a slightly different motions than them.
What are the differences, you would say?
So in Neovim, for example, if you want to delete word, you say diw, so delete inside word. But in Helix, it's reversed. So first, you would select the word with mi, match in...
MI? Okay.
Yeah, miw selects the word.
Okay.
And then D will delete it.
Okay. Now, is there V for visual mode? What's the difference if I do VIW? Because you show me MIW and that selects it, right? But
yes,
is there visual mode as well? Can I do VIW?
Yeah, it's called, so this is select mode. And so when you move your cursor in select mode, instead of creating a new selection, it's going to extend the current one. So just try pressing J when you have pressed V.
Okay, V, and then I press J.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So as you can see, it extends the selection, and the benefit of this is that when you do something like delete, you instantly see what got changed, as opposed to Vim, where sometimes you have to do a little bit of guessing as to what text will actually change, especially if you're changing a lot of text.
I would like for you to show that to me because I'm not getting it. Hold on. How do you know if I can, to exit out of insert mode into normal mode, I usually use
escape.
KJ. Is that configurable?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do it, but I haven't done this myself because on my keyboard, I have escape very close to the home row, so it's very easy for me to exit. But if you're on a regular keyboard, I understand that you would like to do that. So
I have it here on caps lock, but I just got used to KJ already. I don't use the caps lock here on my pinky, but I'm pretty sure it can be done probably, right?
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Okay. Do you mind just sharing about that visual mode? I didn't get it. Visual, the difference between the V and the M.
Yeah, so let me go into my project, which I've been working on. And let's say I just want to select this function. It selects inside of the curly braces.
How did you select it? What did you type?
So I type let me bring up the auto-info so you can see which keys I'm pressing. So I type match around, and I type which character I want to match my selection around. So that would be the curly braces. And now it selects everything inside of the curly braces. I press D and it deletes the selection. I can just undo it with U.
Okay, so
and
M is to match.
Yeah, M.
Okay. And you have to be on the curly brace to run MA curly brace, right?
Yeah, and you will match around the curly brace. But you don't have to be inside of it. You don't have to be on it. You can be inside of it as well. For example, if I do this, it's going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Basically selecting the closest one.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. And how is this different to V? When would you use V then? Like, I'm used to V in visual mode in Neovim, right? So what's the difference there?
So here, if you want to use V, you would usually use it when you already have a selection. But as you can see, when I press J, it just resets this selection. But if I wanted to say, I have this, and I wanted to extend to also include the more word, I just press V, and now when I move, it doesn't reset my selection, and I can just move until I get the more word in my selection, and then I can act on it. If you just hold down X, it will increase the selection like this. And then you press semicolon to reset it if you want.
X, what is X for?
X is basically extends until the line bounds. And then you press it again and it goes to the next line. And it repeats this.
So that is X, right?
Yes.
So is it, that is to select the entire line. It's similar to the capital V in Neovim?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's with X, okay. And what if, for example, I wanted to select this, and I wanted to select this. Could I do it like this one and this one? Just those two?
Yes, you could actually do that. It would be a little bit more like involved. So what you would do is you select the whole file with %. Okay, I will show you on my terminal. So let's say I wanted to select these comments. I would first I would make a selection which includes all of the things I want to select. And then I press S. S brings up like a regex prompt, which allows me to make more selections based on a regex. So I just search for in regex you have starts with, which is the caret, and then starts with slash, and then this would select the comments as lines with comments begin with a slash, and then I just press X again, and it will select both of those lines for me, and I can just delete them if I wanted to, or do whatever I need to.
You pressed X to select the entire line.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So as you can see, they have multiple cursors just built in, and this is extremely useful. For example, let's say that I would like to rename all of the instances where I use LazyLock. I just select LazyLock, and I would like to use absolute path. So I just type std sync LazyLock, and it just works. It changed it in one place and also on the one down.
But what did you press to do that? Can you
Right, so
just
yeah, so as again I select, and then I press F, and I
as
enter
in select, right?
search, select, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then I type what I want to select, which is a
Okay.
lazy lock.
Mm-hmm.
I press enter, and now I type I to go into insert mode,
Okay.
and it goes into insert mode at both of those locations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now whatever I type, it will be repeated for all of the cursors.
Mm.
And then I just press escape.
Okay. You press escape and that's it.
Yeah, escape to exit out of insert mode.
Okay. So this is multiple cursors. You mentioned that it's already built in into Helix, right?
Yeah, that's like the core editing model. Is part of it.
Okay. What else do you use multiple cursors for?
I usually use it for making lots of modifications to the file, and doing stuff like refactors. So actually, I have made a small website for this. It's called Helix Golf. Helix Golf. One second, let me find it. So this is just a small website which has some examples on how Helix can be used to do refactoring. So let's just take this example with JavaScript. So here you have like an object, and you would like to turn this object into a basically an array of tuples, where you have first you have key, and then you have the value, which is the hex. And here we describe what we need to do. So we have this command, but I would like to show it live, how to do it live. So let me just copy this, and I will make a new file. I will paste using space+p, which paste from my system clipboard.
Space+p.
So now I have this space+p, p for paste. Yeah. Yeah, so first we can replace the surrounding curly braces with square brackets. And to do this, we use match. And here we have match replace, which waits for a keyword for a character to replace. So we have, so we enter curly braces here. Let me just make it bigger. Enter curly braces. And now we can press any character, and it's going to replace those curly braces with this character. So I can go something like exclamation mark, and it's going to just replace them. I can do the same thing as I did with the curly braces, but with this exclamation mark. So I type again M, match, replace, and then instead of curly brace, I'm going to type exclamation mark. And it selects the exclamation mark, and I can replace it with what I want. So I would like to replace it with square brackets.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, to proceed, we need to select inside of the array. And to do this, we use match inside. And once again, we select which character we want to make the selection inside of. So for us, that would be the square brackets. Now we use the S, which I mentioned earlier. We can search inside of this selection, and let's search for all of the words. So in regex, that would be you select all the words, and then plus. And then now we have selected the words. I would like to remove the selections from the strings, so the ones we have double quotes. And to do this, you can, so basically in Helix, you have the concept of multiple cursors, and they have, so you have primary selection and you have secondary selection. At the moment, my primary selection is at the apricot. As you can see, it's slightly lighter, the highlighting. Yeah. So if I press closing parentheses, it's going to switch my primary selection to the next selection. So now the second selection is my primary. And now I can press comma to remove this from my selections.
Okay.
And as you can see, it made lightning my primary selection now.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm just going to repeat this. Go to the next word with closing parentheses. And I'm going to remove it from selection again. And I'll do the same with this one. So now I have 3 selections, which are the 3 keys of the object that we had. And I want to surround each selection with double quotes. And to do this, you use M, which is match, then you do surround. So you add surrounding with MS, and then you enter which character you would like to surround each selection with. So for us, that would be double quotes. So I'm going to press double quotes here. And now we have quotes here and also at them for the objects, for the keys and the values. Yeah. So next, we're going to replace these colons. We're going to replace them with commas.
How did you select the colons? Because you had something else selected before. What did you do there?
Yeah, so I had these words selected. I just press L and it moves my cursor to the left. But it cleared my selection, which I had. So let's say I just wanted to keep my selection. I would press V, and then I would press L again. And as you can see this time, it didn't remove the selection which I had, but rather it created a new one.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I will press semicolon to collapse these selections into just the cursors. And I can press R, which is for replace. I replace the character at the cursor with a comma. So now we are almost there. Next, what else do we have to do? As you can see here, we have square brackets which surround each line, except for the final comma. So here what we'll do is move all of our cursors to the end by using GL. So press G. As you can see, there's lots of options we could use. And it says L, which is go to line end.
Oh, okay.
So we do that. Yeah. And it moved us to the end of the line. And now I press H to go backwards by 1 character. I can do V to go into select mode, and then G, S, and this will move me to the first non-blank character in the line.
G, S, S as in Sam.
G, and then S.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yeah. And now I do the similar thing to what I did before, surrounding our selection. But this time, we're going to surround it with the square brackets. So you do MS, square brackets, and it surrounds each selection with the square brackets.
Yes. Got it. I have a question.
Yeah, so that, yeah.
How did you set the multiple cursors then? When you started, how was your cursor moving on each line? How did you do that? Like if you wanted to do 3 cursors right now again there, how do you do it?
Yeah, so what you can do is you press capital C and it adds a cursor to the next line.
Okay.
And you can also do alt+c and it will add the cursor to the to the line above. So you press alt+c, it adds to the line above.
Alt+t as in tomato?
Alt+c.
C as in cat?
Cat, yes.
Okay. So with alt+c, you add more cursors. Well, 1 cursor above. And how do you add a cursor below?
You press capital C, so shift+c.
That's the way that you add. And can you add another one below? If you type shift+c, does it add one more?
shift+c will add the third one.
Okay, I see. Okay, so now that you added the 3 cursors, right? I know how to do that. How do I select the words inside quotes and the key side of things in apricot, lightning, and delta? How do you select those 3 inside the quotes?
Right, so when you do movements with the cursors, they are mirrored for all of the cursors. So I just move inside of the words on every single line. And now I use match inside, and now I type which character I want to match in. And this can be any character. So if we wanted to, we could even do something like square brackets. We could match inside the square brackets. But we can also just match inside the quotes, which will select everything inside of those quotes. Match around quotes would select including the quotes as well.
Okay. Now, your cursors are at different positions right now. If you want to move them to the beginning, like all of them to the opening square bracket, how would you move the 3 of them to each opening square bracket?
Yeah, so you have key binding G, which is go to, and S, so go to start. And this will move the cursor on every single line to the beginning.
Okay. So would you say then that this multi-cursor functionality is a huge benefit of using Helix?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so because we don't have this in Neovim, to do these kind of refactors, I just use ChatGPT for that. Just ask it to do refactors, but it was unreliable, and sometimes it's just a waste of time because the AI doesn't understand what I want from it. But with Helix, I don't need AI for this. I can do it myself, and it's much more reliable.
There is like a plugin in Neovim. I don't know if you heard about it. vim-visual-multi. I watched the video some time ago. I don't know if you ever tried it or not. I don't even remember how to use it, but I remember that I could have multiple. I could do multiple selections, stuff like that. But yeah, it's not built in. You need to install an additional plugin, and all of this that you're mentioning right now is built into Helix already.
Yes, absolutely. And what's so great is that, because if you install something like a plugin with multiple cursors, you're just going to get extra functionality. But because Helix was built with these multiple cursors in mind, the whole editor is integrated around these multiple cursors. Everything was designed around these cursors. So you get more of a complete experience than if you use something like multi-cursor plugin.
What other things do you like about Helix that you want to show? What else do you have there on the website?
Right, so I have more examples. So this one we just convert. So this is a comma separated value, and we wanted to convert this into a SQL. So you just would like to for all of these, you want to insert some values into the specific table.
Okay, you want to demo that?
Yeah, sure, let's do it. So let me just copy this. So now I'm going to select the whole file by using %. And if I do space capital R, it's going to replace the selection with what I have in the system clipboard.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm going to try doing it.
Before I forget this, let me ask you something. Is there something like this? Because I tend to forget what each key does. And it's nice to have which key, right? I can press space and I can get all the different options that there are. But sometimes I don't want to do this. Sometimes I want to open a menu, which is a picker, Neovim, and I can search, for example, for, what example can I give you? Maker. Let's say that I don't remember how I upload an image from Neovim to Imager. I don't remember the keymap. So I just search for Imager and I see here, oh, so it's alt-i. That's the keymap that I use. Or for example, if I don't remember how I paste that GitHub link, right? It's alt:. So I can search for my keymaps. I'm not going to remember anything that we're discussing right now. I'm not going to remember all of the different keymaps that I have to use. Is there a way to search, or how do you search just in case you forget? Okay, so it's space+s or whatever. Is there something to search, or how do you refresh your memory?
So there's the command palette. If you want to see all of the commands, you have space and then question mark. This will open the picker, which contains every single command, what the default key bindings are, and also the description of this command. So basically what it's doing. So here you have stuff like HL, you have JK, but there's also a lot of commands which are not bound to anything by default. So for example, extend right. As you can see, it just moved my cursor to the right, but also extended the selection. And we didn't put me into select mode. So there's lots of things like that. For example, let's say I'm searching for a file. I would like to search for main.rs, and then I go back to where I was. I want to bring that picker up. And what I could do is I could search for it again. But alternatively, you could also press space and then space single quote. This will open the previous picker again. So you don't have to type it again. It just opens for you. And then you can just go back to it.
So those are two files that you have open right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So is this something similar to this in Neovim? If I type, well, I have this keymap configure, right? So capital H. If I type capital H, shows me the 4 buffers that I have open, right? So I can just switch between the buffers, but I have them open, right? If I want to go to this one, it's open. This one is open. If I want to close it, let's say that I want to close this, just type D. In my particular case, right? And I want to go to this one. I have 3 buffers open. That's why it's shown here. Is that similar? Is that something similar what you're just showing right now?
Yes. So in Helix, first of all, you have a Bufferline, and I have this disabled, but you can enable it pretty like this. So you do just type toggle Bufferline, and wait, hold on. Oh, I remember. You have to do set Bufferline to enable. I don't remember how to do it. Let's see the docs. So okay. Helix editor.
And can you see the docs from the editor itself, or you usually go to the website?
Yeah, I just go to the website. At the moment, the docs are not available from the actual editor. But in the future, there are plans to have like a help command, but in Helix.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this is pretty useful. You going through all this in the video and not having it enabled and then enable it, that's going to help users that don't know nothing about Helix, because it helps us understand how to find help and all that stuff.
Also, like, for example, right now, I don't remember how to enable the Bufferline, but I'm showing you how to look through the docs and how to figure it out. So maybe that will also be helpful. So let's search for Bufferline. Right. So you have configuration editor. And here you have, let me search for Bufferline with Control F. Right. So, okay. So one of the options are either always, never, or multiple. Oh, I understand. So if you set Bufferline to always, it will always show which available buffers you have. Okay. You can, you can move between them by pressing G and then N, and this will move you to the next buffer. And
Okay.
you can do the same, but with back. So you go GB, GP, right, previous, go to previous, and it will
Okay.
move you to the previous buffer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't like keeping the buffer line enabled too because it distracts me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. But you can get a picker where you see the two buffers that you have open, right? How did you bring that picker up?
So you press space and then B, and it shows you which buffers you have. So you don't need Bufferline.
Yep. I don't need it. I don't like it. Okay, wonderful. So, okay. Why did you have it disabled? If I may ask, like, why do you keep it disabled?
I keep it disabled because I don't really need it. I use key bindings, like if I need to see buffers, I just use space B. If I need to open a file, I just type whatever I need to into the file picker. Okay. So I have most of the UI disabled just so it's a minimal stuff.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, now where were we? I got lost there. So you were gonna demo something. I remember what.
Oh yeah, we wanted to show how we do this refactor.
Let me stop you a little bit there. What's this website? Is this something you created for the community? What is it?
Yeah, so I just made this website called Helix Golf. It's just basic static website. It's on my GitHub. We did have a couple of contributors. I believe we have like 5 pull requests here. And I just wanted to let people know about like the power of Helix, different how you can do different transformations to text in Helix, because I don't see this talked about as much as Neovim. So in Neovim you have Neovim Golf, and that's everyone knows about it. But Helix Golf, yeah.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so let's do it. So let's turn this comma separated values into SQL. Right.
So basically, first, you just wanted to share a little bit of knowledge about Helix with the community, right? So people can come here and find examples on how to do basic stuff, right? What would they expect? Just like multiple cursor examples? Is that what you have in the website, or you have other stuff?
Yeah, so this is just one of the things which I made for Helix. One more, which is on the Helix GitHub. So if you go there, if we go to the Wikipedia page, here we have this tutorial. So you have like tutorial 1, getting started, 2. It teaches you like how to use Helix from scratch, basically. And this is what I wrote, all of these pages, so that people have an easier time. You
wrote all of that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Why did you start with that? You know, like we needed to know who you are. What have you done in Helix? So you wrote basically the entire wiki page, or most of it? Oh
no, just the tutorial. Everything that starts with tutorial is I wrote it.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. What else have you done in Helix besides your other website? What other things have you done in Helix?
Yeah, so in Helix specifically, I have a couple of pull requests open. If we search by my name. Yeah, so I have about 24 open pull requests right now. So the biggest one that I've been working on is Git Blame. So Git Blame will allow you to show a message at the end of the line. It will show you like the latest commit which affected this line, and it was like my biggest ever pull request to any open source project I've done ever. So as you can see, it's about 1,400 lines. Yeah. So here you can see like the documentation, which is going to happen when it gets merged. And then I was actually amazed how many people reacted positively to this. So it's quite great.
Okay, so you're waiting on approval then, right?
Yeah, there have already been like some reviewers, like Byron, who's the creator of Git Oxide. And Git Oxide, one second. Right, so Git Oxide is basically a Rust implementation of Git. It's still a work in progress, but they have made very, very impressive progress. And Git Oxide Blame is what I'm using in my inline Git Blame pull request to implement this feature.
Okay.
Yeah, one pull request which actually got merged lately is color swatches. So in CSS, you have like such things such as one sec. You have colors, like you have blue, green, and I added like a small square which appears next to these colors. And this is this currently got merged. It's on master, but I believe it's going to be in the next release.
Oh, okay. So you can see the actual color. You can get an idea on what the color is in the file that you're editing.
Yeah. And what I really like about this implementation is that it doesn't like hard code anything. So we don't have to make any sort of parser for this RGB function. We don't have to like hard code the light green color in the editor. What actually happens is we just implement a language server protocol method, LSP. On the Helix's side, we have implemented it. And then on the side of language servers, they have to implement some function which returns the colors for this file. And then these two will communicate together and produce these colors in the text file. So basically, anyone can actually write their own language server that provides these colors, which actually was done. It was done by, I believe, so Q60. They have made a custom language server which shows colors, but for hex code. And it works in any file. So it can work in Nix files, in TOML files, even has auto completion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of the advantage.
I see. And do you go to the Neovim community and grab inspiration and ideas for stuff to implement in Helix? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. How does that? Yeah, because that's the main goal. Make the editor better, for sure, right? So where do you grab inspiration from? Other editors? Which ones?
So, of course, it's Neovim and Neovim's plugins. Because there's some plugins which can just make sense to implement into Helix itself. They don't make sense as a plugin to Helix, because in the future, Helix will have a plugin system, which will allow you to write any sort of arbitrary code, and you can like interact with the Helix API. So you have like, I don't know, emojis. You have a list, a file with 10,000 emojis, and you can open a picker where every single line is one emoji. And this is the kind of functionality that you will be able to get when the plugins arrive. But at the moment, Helix doesn't have plugins. So for me, I don't need plugins because I can just edit source code and implement the features which I need and share it with others.
Okay, so far there's nothing you're missing in Helix, right? Is there something that you missed that you say like, oh man, I had that in Neovim and I don't have it in Helix? Something that you can think of?
Right. So actually, I would be surprised, but no, there isn't much that I'm missing. So when I was using Neovim, I had about 60 plugins, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 lines of Neovim configuration. And when I switched to Helix, everything I really wanted from all of those plugins was just built into the editor itself. So I didn't need to worry about installing like a dozen plugins. I didn't have to worry about like breaking changes happening every week and me having to fix my config. Things just work. And this has been the case for like the couple of months which I'm using Helix. I haven't had any issues with it, like where it just stops working randomly. That doesn't happen, which is one of the amazing.
Okay, wonderful. Can you view images in Helix?
So actually, as I showed you with Yazi, you can use Yazi to view them.
Oh, but I mean in a markdown file.
Oh, at the moment, there's no such capability, but there maybe in the future we can have like something like this. And I think it's possible to implement because we can use, I don't know, like Sixel protocol, which is a protocol like for terminals where they can display images. Like in Yazi. Yazi probably uses this protocol to display these SVGs, and Helix might be able to use something similar.
Okay. Because, well, sometimes I view images in Neovim. If you look at my screen right now, for my blog post especially, right? So I just need to see what the image is, right? So if I jump to my blog post here real quick, you're going to notice, for example, this article. What is this? Let's say that I open this article, right? I just quickly want to make sure that the image that I have in the file is the correct image. So for example, here, right? If I hover over it, I can just quickly see, oh, so yeah, I do have the right image. But that is probably coming in the future to Helix at some point, right?
There is actually an open issue about this. Let me actually search it up. So okay. Helix editor.
You let me know when you have it there, and I'll switch to your screen.
Yeah. Let me find it. Image preview. I remember seeing something like this. Right, so I can't find it, but I do know that in the future we will be able to implement this. If not in like core, at least with plugins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, Tmux is a pretty important part of my workflow. How does Tmux and Helix play around? Do you use Tmux by any chance or no?
I used it for like a little bit, but I don't use it at the moment. I use, right, so the terminal editor which I use, which is WebTerm, it provides me with all of the features which I need. Just like panes, having different tabs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you guys decide to take images into consideration, I'm in Tmux right now, correct? And I can view images even when inside Tmux. So even if you implement image support, there's going to be a lot of customers, Helix customers probably, that will use Tmux and will tell you, hey, my images don't work in Tmux. So I'm just bringing it up just in case.
I mean, we can't know what problems we'll have in the future. Maybe we'll have this problem. Maybe we'll fix it.
I will go there and create an issue that I cannot see images when Tmux and Helix.
Yes.
I'm just playing with you. Just playing with you. All right. Let's demo the other thing that you were going to show, the CSV demo.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so let me just make a new file with this.
Where are you from, by the way?
Oh, yeah. So I'm from London, from England. I've been here since a very young age, but originally I was born in Moldova.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about it?
I have heard about it. I have no idea where it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's most people. Most people don't. It's a country next to Ukraine.
Oh, okay. It's like my country.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where my country is. It's Guatemala, and people is like, what the hell is even that? So I'm used to it.
Yeah, me too. But hey,
Okay.
I live in London now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So, so in Helix, you can see I don't have the syntax highlighting for comma separated values, but I can go use colon and then type lang, and it will bring up a list of all the languages which Helix has syntax highlighting for, and then I can set it to whatever I want. So let's set So I set it to Rust. It's obviously not. It's going to complain syntax error. This is not valid Rust. Let's set it to comma separated values. So as you can see now.
Is this just syntax highlighting, or is it also LSP when you select the language? Like, do you get LSP?
Yes, you get LSP, you get syntax highlighting.
Okay, and you don't need to do anything. These come by default in Helix. You don't need to configure LSPs.
No, it's just enabled by default.
And what if there's one that is not, let's say that you're using a language that is not part of Helix? What would you do in that case?
Yeah, so in this case, once again, you go to the Helix wiki, which has Helix editor GitHub. Right, so you go to the wiki. Here you have all of the language server configurations. These include hundreds of languages. And for example, let's say I wanted support for Mojo. Right, so here you have, okay, so for Mojo is a bad example because it doesn't have, but for MATLAB, for example, you have these configs, which you can just copy paste into your languages.toml. This might not be included by default, but you can easily add it.
Okay, so there's a lot of examples in the documentation.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks.
Right, so let's do this. So we want to convert this comma separated value into SQL. And to do this, as you can see, they all begin with the same thing. So they begin with insert into database.table.
Yep.
So first let's select everything. I press %, it selects the whole file. And then
that's the command that you have there at the bottom, right? So we're going through that command.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. This one, yes. This command here.
Yep. Okay.
As you can see, it lists all of the explanation here. I will go through it.
Wonderful. Yep.
Yes. So I press Alt+S, and it splits my selection into multiple lines. So for every single line, I get a new selection. Now I press capital I, which will move me to insert mode at the beginning of every single line. Yeah, and now I can type whatever I want. So I just type what I see on the after. So the table, right?
And you can see it in real time in the 3 lines, not only in one, right?
Yes. So as you can see, I type and it adds it to every single line at once.
Okay.
Yes. So next, what do we have here? We have the ID, item, cost, location, and here it's actually repeated. So now what we are going to do is we're going to press T, and then we're going to press Enter, and this selects until the end of the line.
T, Enter.
Yeah, so it's not just special case. Basically, T is a command which allows you to move towards any character. So let's say I go to the grave.
Just like in Neovim. T, E. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, like T, E would select to the before the E, etc. You have shift T gray, which selects backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So,
enter is till the end of the line.
Yeah, because enter is like the new line. So you yeah.
The LF character at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
Until the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Because in Helix, new lines are actual characters. So you can go, you can
an LF, right? The LF character, or
yes,
yeah.
It depends. It depends on which text file you have, because some of them have different characters for end of line.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So like you can press Y, which is going to yank the character that we are on, and you press P, and it just inserts new line because that's the character which I have copied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I press shift+c to have multiple cursors. Now, let's copy all of this. I select until the end of the line with T enter, and then I copy it. I paste before the selection by using shift+T. And this, hold on, let me just make this so you can see it. So now we have two of these. And as you can see in here, so the first pair of these keys, they don't have any letters in them, but the second one does. So what we're going to do is, let's just delete the numbers. So once again, you do S, and it will search inside of your selection.
Okay.
And in regex, you have \D, which is going to select the digits. And if you do \D plus, it will select one or more digits. So here I have selected the digits, and I'm just going to press D to delete them. Like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, now what are we going to do? Let's just add closing parentheses at the end of a location. So I'm going to add more cursors here. And like this, right?
How did you how did you add the closing after the multiple cursors? How did you add the closing parentheses?
Yeah, so I just press I to go into insert mode, and then I press closing parentheses, and it adds them, all of them at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have this. Let's write the rest. So we have values here. And then, so here we have the word surrounded with parentheses. So we want to do the same. So once again, we're going to do T and then to the new line. So like this. And now we do match. Let me turn on auto-info. So I do auto-info so that you can see which commands I'm typing.
Yep. Okay.
So I do match. Surround add, which is going to add surround, and parentheses like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So what else? Oh yeah, as you can see here, we actually have a semicolon at the end. So let's not forget that. And they begin with capital letters. So right now you can see that its location, but it's lowercase. So to change the case, we can do tilde. So enter this character.
And one of your cursors, how do you undo? If you mess something up, you just type U to undo?
Yes. Yeah, you just do U. If you want to redo, you do shift U.
Okay, so it's not U and shift U. Okay.
Yeah, so I did
hold on. One of your cursors is moved to the right. The bottom one. How do you move that single cursor? Can you?
So I'm not sure if you can move single one, but what I usually do is just, for example, here, I would like to select just the L. I go into select mode, and I go back, and now I have all of the L's in my selection. And now I do S to select, and I type L. And it's going to place a cursor at the L.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So now let's just capitalize the L. And let's do the same with C. And as you can see, we have the same problem here, but we can circumvent it by using the same method. So you just select, make sure C is in your selection, and then you select the C by pressing S, and then C, enter. Places your cursor on the C. Now you use tilde to change the case.
Tilde.
Tilde, yes, yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what else. Oh yeah, one more thing is all of the words in the final parentheses. As you can see, they have single quotes around them.
Yep.
So I'm going to select inside of the parentheses, match inside, I type parentheses. And now I'm going to do, let's see. Is it Alt-K? Yeah, so it's Alt-K. I press Alt-K, and it's different to F. So with S, you input like some text which you want to select inside of your selection. But with K, you input text which you want to be removed from your selection. So
exclude.
It would be,
okay.
Yeah. So your selection is going to be split into multiple smaller ones.
So you can remove the commas from there.
Yes. So I type comma, and 1 second. Wait. Oh yeah. So I think I remapped it. Yeah, there we go. So I remapped it to a different key. Let's see in my config what it is. So scnixos. Right. So let's see. shift+s. I think actually shift+s will split your selection into multiple ones.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that we have this, I can do make, so match, surround add s, and I input single quote, and it's going to surround each of the selections with a single quote. Yeah,
okay.
I think. Oh yeah, and we do the same. We do the same with here. So here, I just collapsed my cursor into a single one by using a comma.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me make 3 cursors again. I will select inside of the parentheses with mi opening parentheses, and then here, as you can see, we have item, which is capital. The first letter is capital. Let's change it to lowercase.
And tilde. And you just use tilde.
Tilde, yes.
Again.
Tilde.
Okay.
Yes. And you go match inside of the parentheses. Next, you select. So you want to select the words. So you can do this with regex pretty easily. You just press \W, which selects a character which is a wordly character, and then plus means one or more of these. So by doing this, I have selected every single word.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So and now I just do the same thing. I go match, surround add, and grave. I press the grave, and it added the backticks. Right. So I think we're done now.
Yep. Oh, hold on. Yep. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, that explains really well how this multiple cursor functionality works. I think that's gonna help a lot of people see the power of Helix.
Yes.
Have you heard about the joke, the Helix joke? by the primogen.
Which joke?
I cannot say it. But what else do you want to show?
Why you can't say it?
Because it's a bad joke.
Okay.
Helix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So what would you like to get to next?
What else do you want to show? What else do you think it would be useful for new people to know about? Let's see. How long have we been here? An hour and a half. If you have time another day, we can do another session, right? Like, so I'm going to post this video once it's ready. I'm going to post it in the Helix community. And let's see what people say there, right? Like, hey, I want to learn about this. So if there's someone still watching the video, please let me know in the video or in the Reddit post if you would like to learn about something specific. And if you're willing to meet again, Nick, and explain that, would be great. But it's up to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you want to do it, of course.
I mean, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. So what else do you want to show before we wrap it up? And in the next call, if we have another one, we can get to know you a little bit better. So
sure.
Would you like to show something else?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the Helix documentation. Maybe there's something which will inspire me to show off some cool feature.
Okay.
Right, so let's go into configuration, editor. And here you can see all of them config options. Oh yeah, one thing I want to note is that when you, as you've seen me do, I use toggle and I use like Bufferline, for example. So what I really like about Helix is that when you do toggle, you can see all of the config options on the screen, and you can just tab through all of them, and it will show you like every single one. In the future, we also might have something like help, so you will be able to see what each config option does in like in this. One sec. Yeah, so like above here, you would be able to know what it will do.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And similarly, you can use that with themes. So the theme command, it will show you all of the themes. And now you press tab and you can cycle through them. So you cycle through. Yeah, I'm not going to do it fast, just in case someone has like, someone's going to react negatively to it. But you can go through all of them, and it will show you each one.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and what if I want to create? If you look at my screen, I have a custom color scheme, right? I didn't create a color scheme for this, right? So it's just some colors that I applied. Can I do the same in Helix if I want to apply my own custom color scheme?
Yes, yeah, you can absolutely do that. So I even made my own color scheme, and it's actually pretty simple to do, because it's just in a TOML file. Let's see if I can find it.
While you're looking for that, would you say that Helix is a good project if you want to get started with Rust?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the Helix code base is very clean. It's very easy to follow, and from what I've seen, it achieves a surprisingly large amount of features compared to its low code size. So I think Helix has like about 70,000 lines of code in Rust. And I looked at how many lines of code Neovim has, for example, and that is like 200,000 or more. And most of it is in C or Lua. And then you have Zed. Zed also is written in Rust, but I think it has almost 1 million lines of code. So it's kind of impressive how far Helix got. If you compare the size of its code base to the size of other editor code bases.
Okay. So if I'm like, okay, I want to learn about Rust. If I get involved with Helix, would that help me in my process of learning Rust? If I want to contribute to Helix and all that stuff?
So I would recommend contributing to something that you're personally interested in. So, and that is a good way to like keep yourself motivated to work on projects. So for me, this was Helix. As I basically learned Rust by contributing to Helix. I think from like day 2 or 3, since I started with Rust, I made my first pull request to Helix, which was small, but it was enough to get me started. But there's tons of cool open source projects that you can contribute to, which you might also find interesting, and they are written in Rust. So that kind of seems like the language that everyone uses for new projects on GitHub.
Yeah. So would you say that Helix made your Rust learning experience more productive and better for you personally?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I learned so much just by reading Helix Code, trying to understand where different things go, and it's so awesome. Like when you use a text editor to actually understand like what is going on under the hood, what is happening. So it just feels good to use tools and knowing what happens underneath them, which is completely unlike any sort of like commercial software where you just get like this binary. You don't know what it's made of. You just run it. You don't really understand what's going on.
Okay. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing. So you were gonna show the color scheme.
Yeah. So the color scheme which I made, which is the best color scheme in the world.
Yeah, looks like the fries box from McDonald's, right?
Yes.
Did you ever use it?
Maybe for like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to make your own color scheme, it's actually not very difficult. All you have to do is just specify like which scopes represent which color. So here I have defined the palette, and here I can just use the palette. Yeah, and you can see all of the scopes on the Wikipedia, on the documentation side.
Okay, wonderful. So before we get into the color scheme, you were gonna show something else. I'm sorry, but I keep interrupting you and pushing you to,
it's fine.
Different places. So you were gonna show something else. I don't remember what.
I don't know. I think I was looking for the docs for Helix, seeing if I can get like inspired by any of the config options.
I noticed autosave there. So is that an option? Autosave and auto format?
Autosave. Oh, yes. So as you can see, you can automatically save it when focus is lost. And
okay.
Yeah, but this is not something I personally use because for me, I just have save key bound to enter. So I just press one key and it will save my file.
Okay, bound to enter.
Yeah,
okay,
and yeah. So the issue with autosave is that sometimes it can trigger, and if you have automatic formatting enabled, then it's going to format your file like at random times whilst you're editing. And this is not really a good experience. So what I prefer is like editing, and then when I decide that this is a state which I want to commit to, I just press enter and save.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
I got used to autosave already in Neovim. So I do autosave, and autosave triggers auto format, but I do understand what you're saying. I have it configured to save after 3 seconds. If I haven't made any changes, have a lot of conditions, in which ones not to save and when to save. So if I'm in visual mode, don't save, right? Even if the 3 seconds pass, don't save. If I'm in insert mode, no. Only if I'm in normal mode. But it's good to hear that it's an option. What else? Oh, something that I wanted to ask. Give me a second. Oh, do you have your config in your .files? Do you have your .files public?
Yes, my .files are on GitHub. So I think I have let me see. Yeah, there we go. Nix.files. So all of these files are just publicly available. So this is my Helix config. It looks like this. I have I have about 400 lines here, but most of this is for language server setup. So stuff like Tailwind CSS, what else? Nginx, this sort of stuff.
Okay.
And then also my custom overrides. But in terms of my personal config, I believe it's nothing special. The most important feature is, for me, Yazi integration, which is already shown, and another one, which is a LazyGit. So you can also have LazyGit right inside of Helix. So yeah, I have this. Do you know about LazyGit?
Yeah, I use it all the time. That's my preferred method of pushing stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So you can open it like this normally, but you can also open it from Helix. So for me, I have key binding for Control-G, and it opens it inside of the editor. Here I can make whatever changes I need to make. As you can see the gutter here, it says that this line was modified. It's blue on the left. So one thing you can do is just commit it. So you just write some commit message here. And as you can see, the blue lines went away. It means that this was committed.
Yep. I also use LazyGit. I have it mapped to alt+g, and I get it from Neovim, right? So notice that I'm inside Neovim here. Alt+g brings it up, and I just can run my commits there. So who is stealing the ideas from who? I guess Helix is stealing from Neovim, and you're the one doing all that.
Possibly.
Okay. Your .files. Okay, I noticed it's that Nix file. I know nothing about Nix. I'm just a regular person. So someone looking at your helix.nix file can just copy whatever is in there and just put it in their config.toml file.
Yeah, they should be able to just copy, but they will have to change the syntax because the syntax is a little bit different. But in terms of key value pairs, it's the same. So it basically just translates this .nix into .toml, a one-to-one mapping.
Okay, and that .toml file is nowhere in your .files. That's just local, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I can actually open it. It's in my Helix folder. It gets automatically. Yeah, here we go. It's this. It gets generated.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. All right, so I do really appreciate your time, Nick. It's been more than an hour and a half. Thank you very much. I'll share this. Let's see what the folks say. And if you want to share more with us again, I'll reach out in Reddit. We can chat there. All right?
Sure.
So, thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.